Yeah, I know the I'm not cis, I'm normal is a very thing. Believe me, I've had that conversation with a real life friend of mine where I've had to be like, look, I understand you want to say I'm not cis, I'm normal. I get it. The actual word, the term, the sociological term you're looking for is cis. It's like somebody going, I'm not white, I'm pure-blooded Caucasian. All right. We haven't talked about Marcus Rogers in a little bit, and well, there's other things I got to talk about today. This is the one that I want to talk about at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on with Disney right now, and people freak out about the wrong things. I mean, Marcus Rogers tends to do that, but we'll get into the fan art section, and then we'll talk about that. So, first of all, we have this one from Ember, and I honestly think this may be one of my favorite fan art pieces that has ever been made. I'm sorry. This is just all kinds of perfect. All kinds of perfect. The next one we have is not this one, but I'm going to keep staring at this one for a little bit. I have to. Thank you very much, Ember. The thing they said in the actual spiel was, I'm a very simple person. I see a character with big hammer. I must draw. And fair enough. The next one we have is from Ursa Medi. Said, okay, transfer to a clean paper and ink. Next step is to color and try to get some tail hammers and a background done with this piece. So more work on a piece that has been shown earlier. The next one we have is from Win Dragon. Dragon Girl Suris sketch. Lots of love for the hoisted hammer on the back. I'm gonna have to actually get a pose for every one of my avatars that has the hammer being held. I'm gonna have to do that. Oh my god, could I actually do a version of the pose where like the hammer is held, but it's still very obviously like linked to the tail? Like the little hammer that's on the tail of the character actually gets like larger. I mean, for those who are watching on YouTube and don't see like the other parts of the character that often, here. I also don't know why that's on that screen. Immersion breaking. But, like, there's a little hammer right there. And there's been a little hammer out there for a very long time. I would love if I could find a way to make it to where, like, the hammer just grows, but it's still attached to the tail. Necodemus, thank you for hopping into the chat. So you can threaten to bonk chat? Yes. Yes, I will gladly threaten to bonk chat. Chat deserves the bonkening, it's true. As always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future episode, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord when the Discord reopens. Right now, it's closed down a little bit, but it's fine. You can sketch us some concepts. If you want to do that, Kidder Doodle, more power to you. I would love to see them. Let's go ahead and take a look at Marcus Rogers as All Hail Shadow of all things plays in the background.
You might get yourself a little, laugh, a little chuckle when you see the creativity, obviously, of this artist mocking what Disney is pushing. But when you think about it, it's really not a laughing matter, all right? Some of the recent headlines, Disney executive wants 50% of all characters gay or underrepresented.
Okay, so let's start with that one real quick. Disney president of entertainment wants 50% of characters to be gay or underrepresented. Okay, cool. Which would mean that they're just not white. 50% of characters to just be not white, right? That's basically what that means. That's basically what that means. Either they would be white, or they'll have, like, some of them will be gay, maybe some of them will be trans, who cares? Like, what's wrong with that? 50% of your characters still get to be, like, bog standard white folks. Who cares? Why does this matter? Why is this a problem? Oh yeah, underrepresented. It can also mean people with disabilities. It can also mean that. Like, why is this a problem? Why does anyone care? Well, let's go ahead and see, because Marcus is going to give us some reasons to care. I think he's going to try.
Executive wants 50% of all characters gay or underrepresented.
You're right. He's also doing that thing where he just analyzes the headline. He doesn't actually, like, read the story. He just reads the headline, and that's it. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's like literally the worst kind of journalism.
Disney executive wants more gay leads, despite many gay characters already. Let's see. Disney.
How many gay characters does Disney have? How many gay characters? Like, don't get me wrong. I know that we've got the lovely joke. We've got the wonderful joke, like, the first gay character in a Disney film. And it's usually like the 18th trillionth. Small Knight, thank you very much for the raid. How was your stream? But yeah, like, how many openly gay characters do we have in Disney movies right now? Really, not a whole lot, all things considered. Not really a whole lot. Not that I can think of, anyway. Not that come to hand. Like, I'm sure you could come up with a handful, but, I mean, not such a high, significant amount. So the film, I know the Owl House had a bi and lesbian character. Well, yeah, the Owl House, when it comes to, like, I'm talking about their movies. But sure, you could bring the Owl House in, where we actually do have gay representation in there. But, yeah. So you played Stick Fight the game? Cool. Cool. Well, hopefully everything went well. Thank you so much for throwing everybody here. Do queer-coded villains count as gay characters? I think that's the next point he's gonna make. Let's see. Thank you for the 50 bits, by the way.
Exposed. Leaked video shows officials pushing LGBTQ agenda. Now they're responding to, DeSantis. I think they were calling it the "Don't Say Gay" bill, right?
I've always wondered, okay, when you say the LGBTQ agenda, what the hell does that mean? Please, people in the chat, if you are bi, if you're pan, if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're, dear God, I think I just said, like, everybody I think I have very few heterosexual people in my chat. Huh. Anyway, what's the agenda? What are you guys supposed to be doing? Because, like, I'm cis and hetero. Like, I'm boring as hell. Like, look. Me? Boring. Wow, that did not go where it was supposed to. I thought that was going to go where it was supposed to. That didn't. Me? Boring. Boring as hell. Bog standard cis white guy. That's it. There's nothing here. There's nothing special here. Also, Terror is having a fun time. Terror's having a happy time back here. She's a good bean. I love her. She's amazing. But, like, it doesn't help. Boring goes for fun guns. But I don't know the agenda. I'm not part of the crowd there. I'm not, I don't get the invites to the cool LGBTQ secret societies. The LGBTQ Court of Owls. I don't get that. So what's supposed to be on the agenda? What's supposed to happen here? Because I have no fucking idea. Said, got out of the shower. What did I miss? That's it. That was the agenda right there. Killer Doodle said, I'm never invited either. I think they just got your address wrong. That's all. I think that's all. Wait, how do you know about the Court of Owls? Well, you see, sir, there is a secret society of the gays under Gotham City. They've been there a very long time. Anyways.
And so, Disney, these woke folks are trying to push this agenda. But think about what we're talking about. We're talking about a children's show.
Yeah?
We just had this conversation the other day about, they're wanting to push this stuff on second graders, kindergarten, third grade. And so they made a bill, hey, you don't need to be teaching this stuff. They had the gingerbread man that was like some kind of, I'll post an image right here that you can see. And they were like, this is inappropriate. Kids this age don't need to be learning about this. Teach them reading, teach them math. Let me as a parent, teach.
Teach them what now? Teach them reading. Wait, hold on. So if I'm reading a book, and in that book, a character comes up who happens to have a gender, what do we do? If I hand my kid a copy of Harry Potter and it says Harry was a young boy of 10, what do you do with that? Do you just like go, oh, okay, cool. I guess you look at them and go, well, we can't really explain what a boy is. That would be pushing the agenda of gender on a child. So I don't know how to explain that word to a child, Marcus. How do I do that anymore? I mean, the Don't Say Gay bill literally says we can't do that. Let's also point out that it actually says 3rd grade, not 2nd grade. Let's also point out that in the exact paragraph where it says 3rd grade, it also goes on to say, or anything deemed age appropriate, which is arbitrary as fuck. Yeah, what do we do there, Marcus? I'm just curious. What do we do in that situation? If you want kids to be able to read, then guess what? They're going to end up reading something that talks about gender at some point. It's literally going to... Oh my God. Books have pronouns, Marcus. Did you know that? The woke agenda, let me tell you.
Them the rest of the stuff. I don't want my kid in kindergarten. Come on. It's crazy. Kindergarten. Because they're trying to shape the mind. The truth of the matter is this, right? The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. There is a spirit behind this. Obviously, it's the spirit of perversion.
Gender demons. They're here to possess your children, Marcus. Be afraid of your imaginary enemies. Continue.
So these people, the Disney executive that wants 50% of all characters gay or unrepresented, all right, it's not that they're just doing this out of the kindness of the heart. There's a spirit behind that trying to push an agenda to indoctrinate your children.
Are you sure it's not because of marketing? Because right now, it is very trendy to be a company that caters to LGBTQ people. It may not be trendy to be LGBTQ. There's plenty of people who still get assaulted, literally thrown out of their own houses, ostracized or otherwise disparaged for things they can't control. But from a corporate standpoint, it is trendy to be a person who caters to LGBTQ people. Are you sure it's not just that Disney, hear me out, as a corporation that cares about money, finds that it would be better to look on a poster more progressive because that would lead to more money? Are you sure it's not just that? They're literally just a corporation. They care about one thing, generally speaking, money. That's the benefit and also the terrible side of backing a fucking corp. Otaki and Storm, though. You. Speaking of backing evil, faceless corporations, let's talk. Let's talk about this thing you've put up in the chat. Otaki and Storm has put in 50,001 channel points. And for what reason? This Disney-ass motherfucker wants me to say, oh, woo. Oh, woo. Look at you. I will never say, oh, woo. You will never fucking get me to say it. No amount of channel points nor money will ever make me say that fucking phrase. Ever. Also, Red Joker, thank you for redeeming your points for an and also an oh well. All of them. All better things. I mean, they're still degenerate. You still deserve every inconvenience that's ever happened to you, but, you know, it's still better than that. Holy Facts, thank you for the follow, by the way. Don't worry, you still have a nuke in reserve. I bet you do. Jesus. What are you never going to say again? Aha, Striker. I'm never going to say uwu. Fuck off. Continue, Marcus. Your words are less cringy than that one.
All right. The Bible says what? Train up a child in the way that they should go when they're old, they will not depart from it.
So train up a child to understand that there are people in the world that look or act differently than them, and that's okay. And then they won't grow up to be a bigot. There you go. There you go. Not hard. Not hard at all. So you have a bomb waiting? Jesus Christ. You know what? We're going to have... He's just going to be here distracting us. Blizzy's just going to be there walking in just like that. It's going to be very distracting. But we're going to keep it there. We're going to keep it there.
So Satan is trying to take that principle and say, well, I'm going to train up your child so that, eventually, when they get older, if we keep coming for the children and we indoctrinate all the children, then that's just their normal. Now, when I was growing up, they weren't teaching this stuff in school. This stuff wasn't all in the TV shows and every single cartoon. And think about it. What?
You had gay people in cartoons, dude. You just didn't want to think about it. I'm sorry. Did you watch He-Man growing up? That is like one of the most queer-coded shows in the entire fucking planet. But look at you. They didn't have that when I grew up. Also, can we talk about the fallacy? When you say, well, they didn't have that when I was growing up, who the fuck cares? That statement means nothing. That actual statement, when you say, didn't happen when I grew up, didn't happen when I was a kid, and what does that mean? Why does that matter? You can't just do an appeal to tradition like that. Itaki and Storm says, resubscribing with Prime, does this lessen the impact of the point redeem? Itaki and Storm, there was no impact, because you never made me say anything. Nothing happened. You gained nothing. Anyways, thank you for the resubscription.
What is it, less than 1% of the population? But you want it in 50% of the movies?
No, they want it to be 50% of the characters in the movies, and it's not just gay and trans people, it's also other minorities like, I don't know, black people, Marcus! Underrepresented people could also be black people, Marcus! But okay, sure. Be the dude just sitting there going, I don't want them to have them in my movies anymore. What's that one post? That terrible post about anime where the one weeb just goes like, anime is supposed to be an escape into a perfect world, and that gets diminished when there are black characters. Marcus, you're unironically being that dude right now.
Something is not right. And we got to wake up. We got to be, aware of, you can't just let your children watch any movie anymore.
Wait, have none of you seen that post? Hold on, I got you. I got you covered. You've never seen this post? This one right here? This is what Marcus is unironically being right now, but this is one of those things where, like, it's horrible. It is terrible. It is awful. But it's also a classic. Because it's a thing you can always reference to when you're like, wow, you're being awful yikes today. You're looking a lot like this clown. It's also a Great Pretender taking place in the world, featuring many nationalities. Most detectives kind of characters are Japanese. They're American, British, German characters. Yeah, no, this thing is a yikes. It's a very yikes. But when you do that, when you do this thing where you get mad at minorities being in shows and being like, they're trying to bring up the LGBTQIA plus agenda, we're just like, oh, okay, sure. That's exactly what they're doing, buddy. Don't worry. We have your padded room if you need it. It's a safe place where minorities can't hurt you.
You can't don't let them just be on the phone. Don't let them just be on YouTube. Don't just let them, watch it. When I grew up, they had some Disney movies that, and people, they got different opinions about Disney. But it's just crazy that I look at the difference from my childhood to now my children growing up. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. There's like agendas in everything. And you got
all those same agendas were there when you were a kid, but as a kid you didn't think about it, you didn't notice it, it didn't matter to you, and when you became an adult it was normalized for you, and yet here you are and you're okay. Guess what? Your kids will be okay too if they see a trans character in a Disney movie. If your kids see a gay character in a Disney movie, they're going to be okay too. Imagine having that conversation. Okay, look, I want you to imagine Marcus unironically saying this shit, because this is what it sounds like he would say. Okay? Movie comes out, has a gay protagonist, or even a side character who's gay. There might even be a kiss scene in there somewhere. And you just hear Marcus, just imagine him having a conversation at the dinner table after church or something, where he's like, my kid wanted to see that movie. It looked really good, but I don't want him to see the movie. It has a gay character in it, and I just don't want him exposed to that. And now you've got to sit here and go, Marcus, what's actually wrong with gay people? What's actually wrong with them? Don't grab your book and be like, hidden agendas and Satan's fucking the children. Don't do that. Don't do that. I want you to actually give a detailed and logical reason as to why gay people bad. And if and when you can't, we'll be here And so will that movie you didn't let your kids see.
Those, I don't want to call them conspiracy theories, but they go back and, well, this stuff has been in Disney forever.
Yeah, literally what I just said.
At least it was more hidden. Now it's not even hidden. The devil's not even hiding. It's just out there. They're telling you. They used to try to sneak it in. Now they're telling you, like, no, this is what we want to do.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Gay characters.
They didn't say 50% gay characters. Okay, this is the game of telephone. We're at 3 minutes and 18 seconds. This is the game of telephone. Gay or underrepresented, which means any type of minority. They could be trans, they could be black, they could be Latino, doesn't matter. Any kind of minority. And I understand that he might not be able to read. You're right. That's mean of me, but you showed it on the screen yourself. This is what happens with a game of telephone. Usually, it's supposed to be that you say the thing, then the next person gets it wrong, then the next person gets it a little more wrong. But here you are getting it wrong on your own. The more times you say it, the more worser it gets. Sorry, I can't read either, apparently.
But only 1% of the population. And notice how they always try to attach the LGBTQ, unrepresented. So, they're obviously going to talk about, minorities and things like that. Black Lives Matter did the same thing. Remember when I went to the website and I pulled the website up and I showed you, they're like, we don't believe in the nuclear family. We believe in cisgender, transgender. The Black Lives Matter mission statement was
we believe in cisgender. Marcus, don't you realize you are cisgender? Does he not realize that? Dude, unironically, just like, hey, it's bad because they don't believe in cis people. My dude, you are a cis people. I'm a cis people.
Was that they wanted to come against Western society's view of what a family is, which is that traditional husband, wife, children. And then their mind is...
Yeah, I know I'm not cis, I'm normal is a very thing. Believe me, I've had that conversation with a real life friend of mine where I've had to be like, look, I understand you want to say I'm not cis, I'm normal. I get it. The actual word, the term, the sociological term you're looking for is cis. It's like somebody going, I'm not white, I'm pure-blooded Caucasian. My inbred motherfucker Alabama dude. It's same thing. You said the same thing with a different word. Congratulations. You did nothing.
Like, no, you can have two women, you can have two men. Why is this attached to Black Lives Matter, the movement? They always try to sabotage these different things and push this agenda.
Okay.
And it's just crazy. Like, what is it going to take? Like, I know they say, oh, Christians shouldn't be involved in politics. This dude, DeSantis, he's got a backbone.
No, the fuck he doesn't. Don't even lie. If it weren't for the fact that he had a giant majority of people willing to support him in Florida, dude would be peddling his ass back. Literally, if it weren't for the fact that he had thousands of people behind him in the, quote, culture war, the dude wouldn't even be saying anything here. You want to know the reason DeSantis does things like back the don't say gay pill? Oh my god, the don't say gay pill is a suppository, guys. You want to know the reason that people like DeSantis back stuff like that publicly? It's because they are children and they need praise. They desperately crave the attention. The minute that they can't get attention from it, they're not going to fight those battles anymore. They fight those battles on the public stage because it means that people can take their special snowflake asses and raise them up on a podium and say, look at this man, he's talking about something radical, Christian conservatism. It's never been tried before. People like DeSantis will not go against the grain. They will go against minority groups because there are fewer of them. They fight battles that are easier, that lowest common denominator voters that rely on common sense and common sense alone without understanding what the hell that is. That's their voter base. That's the people they rely on. Without those people, they're cowards.
And whether, whatever way you vote or whatever, he is trying to do something really that's going to protect your children. Now, some people...
protect them from what? Learning that gay people exist? Oh, no! It's not like they're fucking in front of your kids or anything, dude. They're fine. Crazy7 says, hey, got a small question. I might have a small answer.
I don't need my kids to be protected. I want them to learn about all that. No, you got to understand there's a spirit behind it. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. The devil is the author of confusion.
Okay, so I guess that means that, Marcus, are you saying that instead of a logical reason to be against gay people, it has to be because you have an imaginary enemy that is screeching and hollering at the children, telling them to be the more gay? Really? Okay. So what do you think about Short Fat Otaku? I don't watch enough of their content to really make much of a determination, but the things that I hear said about them are that he sucks.
They are trying to confuse your children. Why do I want to send my kindergartner to school? Very impressionable. For you to tell my kid, like, okay, yeah, your dad sent you here, and you got boy clothes on, but if you feel like you're a girl and stuff, why would I even want them to put that thought in their mind?
I mean, so what's scary about that thought? Let's just ask the question. If you, as a kid, heard that maybe you could be a girl if you started feeling like that, what would the actual damage be? What is the actual problem there? Because if you don't know, what is the actual issue? Now, granted, I do think that, maybe not quite kindergarten to talk about trans things, but certainly talking about the fact that people are gay is fine. Like, seriously, all it takes is two kids being in the daycare, having a conversation, as brief of a one as they can at that age, and one of them bringing up the fact that they have two mommies, and suddenly somebody's got to have a conversation about that. And if you've got a really bad parent, they may take that opportunity to say that their kid cannot go hang out with that other kid anymore because they don't want them being indoctrinated by the gay agenda. And I'm not pulling this example out of my ass. This is a thing that happens to people. Yeah, and Blair White, of course, said that she knew she was trans between the ages of 4 and 6. Because, Like, most trans people you talk to, if they were not being heavily forced into the closet, and even sometimes when they did, will usually tell you that they knew at a lot younger age than you're probably comfortable with. Here's the thing. If your child grows up as your son, and then one day ends up being your daughter, you didn't lose a son, Marcus. You gained a daughter. They're still the same person the entire time. You're the one that has to explain how that is harmful.
Now, I personally believe that, obviously there's a spiritual aspect to it, but a lot of times kids are not thinking about a lot of this stuff unless somebody exposes it to them or puts that seed in their mind.
Very glad you didn't say put that seed in that child. That would have been a very strange Freudian slip. But, yeah, the idea may be put in their head that that's a possibility. And you still have to demonstrate that that's harmful.
Right, I believe that when you see with D Wade's son, with a lot of even racism, kids aren't racist. You better put a bunch of kids in the park and you let them play. They don't care if you're black. They don't care if you're white, unless somebody taught them or showed them otherwise.
So I could not tell you how it happened, but I can tell you that I remember a thing that happened to me when I was a child. I did have an issue with black people as a kid. I don't remember exactly how it came about, but I do remember being offered a handshake when I was like 5 and denying it and literally saying the words, "I don't shake hands with black people," and getting scolded by my teacher for it. And I couldn't even tell you how that happened. That's not even to say that like kids grow up racist. Generally, I agree. They don't. But here's the thing. Explaining to a kid that racism exists and that there are racists in the world, and sometimes there are characters in the books they read that will be that thing. Nothing wrong with that. But here's the other side of things. It's not that kids are perfect little angels. A lot of times kids will do anything at all, to ostracize someone merely because they are different. Teaching them at an early age that they shouldn't do that is not a bad thing. Again, it's on you to explain why telling them about these things is bad or wrong.
And so that's the reality. You have these adults, right, probably who are LGBTQ, and they feel like, man, I need to make it my mission. So I need to get in politics, and I got to pass legislation where my sexuality is being pushed on children.
What? Nobody thinks that. I guarantee you, there is not a conniving gay person going, I like dick up the ass. I need to make it so that more children want it too. That doesn't happen, Marcus. Nobody's doing that, Marcus. Nobody. Suris, you're scaring me. I was just channeling, what is it? I can't remember his name. Not Brack from Space Goes Coast to Coast. Not Brack. What is it? I can't remember his name. Green one. Zorak. Yeah, there we go. I was just trying to be Zorak there for a minute. You couldn't see on the screen, but I was literally rubbing my hands together doing that. There's nobody doing that, Marcus. I'm sorry.
I saw some article about some, I believe it was an LGBTQ teacher.
Did you see the article or did you read the article? Because you've demonstrated an inability to do the latter.
Upset about the new law, if I'm correct, that he wasn't going to be able to tell his story with his children in his class anymore. I don't need you to tell your story. I need you to teach my kids how to read, teach my kids how to do math, teach them life skills.
Yeah, not being a bigot is a fucking life skill, dude. I'm sorry, you are the person that needs to get slapped at the PTA meeting, Marcus. I'm sorry, whenever you're the person who's like, I don't need you as a teacher to talk about your life to these kids. You are nothing more than a machine to spit out learning to my child. But they can't learn about life experiences from you. That would be bad. I don't understand. So honestly, could have been Welcome S7 with Mega XL Dart Fingers. Ooh, Walcom. I like Walcom. Walcom's content's really good if you're into Nerf stuff. I am, so yeah. Anywho.
Anything, especially when they get older, teach them credit. Teach them about something that matters. That we don't need you to do. That's not what you're there for, to tell your life story. Teach them about something that matters.
So you think the quadratic formula matters than a relatable life experience that a kid's going to take with them for the rest of their lives? Really? Marcus, you obviously learned nothing in school, my guy.
And tell my kid about all the stuff you're doing with your husband back home. That's not...
You're implying that they're talking about fucking, Marcus. I guarantee you that any teacher, gay or straight, that is talking about fucking to children of that age does not need to be in teaching at all. But it has nothing to do with their sexuality. But I guarantee you would have no problems if a straight teacher said, I met my wife 15 years ago on this very high school campus. She even rejected me going to the prom with her. But, I won a dance-off, and that still didn't impress her. But 2 years later, she made my Starbucks latte and then accepted me going out with her. And we went to go see this movie, and it was really great. And now we're married, and that's unfortunate for her. Like, you would have no problem with somebody explaining that story to a kid in their class, because there's nothing wrong with that story. But the minute that you swap out girlfriend with boyfriend and, wife with husband, The minute you do that, suddenly there is a problem. And here's the thing. All the mechanical things are identical, Marcus. Everything is the same between these two relationships. And science is pushing to a point where we can't even use the, well, they can't breed. That's a non-factor anyway. There are straight couples who can't breed, and in vitro's a thing. It's okay for your kids to find out gay people exist, my guy. It's fine.
Not what I sent them to school for. And what's crazy is people act like they can't see that things are getting worse. They act like they can't see that, children, have just gotten worse. Look at the stuff that's going on in the world. When we grew up, we was getting spanked, and there wasn't obviously there was filth and stuff, but there wasn't all this, just blatant garbage and indoctrination, in the movies like it is now. And I don't care what nobody says. These children are growing up soft. These children are growing up. Obviously, a lot of these young guys are growing up just very feminine.
And
it's like they want the females to be more manly, and then they want the males to be more feminine. And
it's okay. So no, that is a wonderful freeze frame. Oh dear God, that is a wonderful freeze frame. Okay, so this is actually a point of projection. Nobody wants men to be more feminine as like a truism. What we want, generally speaking, is for people to have the ability, the freedom to do those things. It's not that people want men to be more feminine. It's that people want men to have that option. The only person who wants people to emulate a particular category and do that as a truism is you. That is your agenda, Marcus. That is the thing that you want to push. You want women to look more womanly. You want men to look more manly. You are the one who is trying to have a group of kids who are indoctrinated to think that those are the proper ways to exist. You haven't yet considered that the monster you're fighting is one you became a long time ago. People like me want people to have the opportunity to be whoever they want, to act how they want, so long as what they do and what they want is harming nobody. And it would be very hard for you to bring up a point on how being gay causes harm to someone.
What is that? That's the spirit of the Antichrist, because God made a man and a woman. And remember, the devil comes as an angel of light. So they come to you and say, oh, it's all about representation and love and equal rights and all that kind of stuff. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
That's not what it's about.
Yes, it is.
It's about you pushing your agenda.
No, that's what it's been for you the entire time. It's been that for you the whole time, my guy.
I always told people from the very beginning under Obama, I said it's not about gay marriage, because they had the, I forgot what you call it, domestic partnership or something, where it's like they can still live together. They can do everything a married couple could do. It's about coming against the definition of what marriage is. And then from there...
No, it wasn't. They literally could not get married. There were legal protections. There are legal protections offered to you specifically in marriage that are unique to marriage. There are benefits to being married that you could get as a married couple, but you could not get as a domestic partnership. If you want an example of what people did to get those benefits, there are stories of gay couples where one adopted the other because adoption uniquely gave them the same rights as a married couple. A domestic partnership did not grant the same rights, Marcus. The literal actions taken of people in the past prove you wrong. And yet, here you are on the internet, the ability to research the things you said, apparently that you said 12 years ago. And they were wrong then, and they're wrong now.
Oh, you've given us this? Now let's just take everything. We want representation in the movies. We want, these people to be hired even in churches. Like, everywhere. It's like a takeover.
It's like a takeover. How? Gay people want jobs. Who's taking over what? This is like the I'm scared of immigrants, except it's I'm scared of people who fit a stereotype I don't like, which I guess is the exact same thing, but said differently.
So we can lay down, we can be quiet, we can not say anything, or we can stand up, we can speak up, and we can stand together and say no. Like what DeSantis is doing, we need more people like that.
No, we don't.
Because now people are so scared. You have this politically correct, society where people are, oh, I don't want to lose my job. And so people are just going with the motion. But if we had more people to stand up like DeSantis and stand behind them, you know what I'm saying? We could do something. But
we could do something. What's the something, my guy? What's the something we could do? Because doing something has happened several times. Doing something has happened a lot since Stonewall. But okay, sure, you can do something. Vague.
It's hard to get people to unify about anything, because especially at least just the church. If we could get the church to get on one accord and stand and speak about this, we could make a difference. But the church got to be unified.
And then what would you do? What difference would you make in the world? Gay people would be less represented in media, and then what? You would be slightly more comfortable? Who cares? Why should the rights of others have to cater to your individual comfort? They shouldn't, and they don't. That's just my thoughts on old Marcus. The last time we covered him, he never got to the point in his video, and I felt very blue-balled. I was legitimately cucked by the titling of his video. This time, on the other hand, I wasn't. We have Marcus freaking out about gay people merely existing and wanting to live in a world where they can see themselves existing in other areas. A thing that doesn't harm anybody, and yet here you are, claiming it does, because of a metaphysical enemy you can't even describe. I've said it many times, and I'll say it again, I don't have a problem with people of faith, and I don't have a problem with people having faith. But what Marcus is right now is not a person of faith. He's a person of fear. A person of faith worships a deity and respects them. A person of fear has an imaginary enemy. And that's what Marcus is. And that's where we are. But you let me know what you think in the comment section. This is a conversation that can obviously be thrown that way as well. And dear God, we have created a 47-minute fustercluck for Cherry to edit. Jesus. Anyways, if you want to support the channel and what I do, there are plenty of ways to do so. If you have not already checked out the merch store where wonderful pieces that are made by Yarakoro can be found. If you have not already checked out the Cuddly Octopus link down there, that can take you to something that will make Marcus very angry. But, you know, don't get it just because it would make Marcus angry and uncomfortable to see stuff like that in the real world. Don't do that. Get it because you want it, but don't explain it to me. Actually, like, go to sleep after ordering that and rethink your life. But, anywho's, giving Cherry all the long-ass topics to edit. Look! They said I could. It's their fault. I blame Cherry. Anyways, as always, everybody, hopefully you enjoyed as much as you could. And as always, insert end of video tagline here.